JJ and Alex are deep in Utah strategy and reaction. What the Utes did right and what they need to do better. JJ and Alex, Monday from 3 to 6 on the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. 1st and 12 right here on the KSL Sports Zone. Happy Sunday to you. Normally we're on KSL News Radio as well. This weekend, of course, the General Conference. We are just hanging out on the KSL Sports Zone, which is fine because that's where you can find me every afternoon with JJ and Alex during the week. And then Mitch Harper, of course, our BYU insider for KSLSports.com. You can hear him on Cougar Sports Saturday. And also, what do you do on a bye week for Cougar Nation, Mitch? You guys still going to take some aggressive phone calls, or are people going to be reasonable this week? Is that what's going to happen?
I expect some reasonable phone calls. There's still a pocket of the fan base that wants Gary in at quarterback, and we'll field those calls if needed. But we'll look ahead to Arizona and get a look at the Wildcats and kind of also recap what's been taking place over the bye week as well.
So it is funny because both BYU and Utah this next week, Utah goes to Tempe to take on Arizona State, and BYU goes to Arizona. And it's a whole new season now. And it's weird, too, because the world of college football has given us, or in the Big 12 has given us 2 bye weeks this year. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what to do with ourselves. We're over here. We got to do 2 shows this year where we have to talk about other people more at length than we do about BYU and Utah, although we have jammed quite a bit of BYU and Utah into this, including this portion of the show, Mitch. I found a very, very fun playoff predictor widget that ESPN put together. Okay? And so it gives you 24 teams across college football right now who are the most likely to make the college football playoff. By the way, I'll say when BYU was 2-0 and Utah's 2-0, every person that predicted where the bowl projections and all those things are, even at 2-0, even at 3-0, BYU had a handful of bowl predictions, but it was First Responder Bowl, Military Bowl, all the Armed Forces Bowl, everything. It's something in Texas, right? It's something in Dallas-Fort Worth, and something playing, UTSA or, Navy or whomever that you wouldn't get necessarily that excited for, but it's certainly bowl games that you've been used to as BYU fans. However, now, with Utah 4-1, BYU at 5-0, the most Big 12 predictions have BYU just because the numbers bear it out right now, not because of anything else except for just hey, if you were to go with right now and just project it forward, BYU has the best odds to be in the college football playoff. Them and Iowa State.
Unreal.
And not only that, but you still have, ESPN has BYU as a 4 seed. On 3 has BYU as a 4 seed. CBS Sports put them as a 4 seed into it. I think another one of the big ones has BYU as a 10 seed or an 11 seed, and Iowa State is as the 4 seed coming out, which means, of course, that would be BYU and Iowa State likely playing one another in the Big 12 championship. In really fun worlds, Mitch, you have BYU and Utah playing one another in the Big 12 championship game in Arlington. I don't know how to get it there, but it's weird that we're actually talking about it. The possibility is still on the table right now as we speak, going into Week 6 of the college football season. But here we go. I've got this whole predictor. And of the 24 teams, the only Big 12 teams that are in there are Iowa State and BYU currently that ESPN put in their widget. And they have BYU set as a 24% chance to make the college football playoff as of today. Are you kidding me? Wild, right? Considering where we're at the beginning of the year. But I'll go through, and you pick the team that you think could go to the college football playoff. So let's pick BYU for funs and poops and giggles here on the program. Their hardest games the rest of the way, according to this widget, are BYU hosting Oklahoma State. So you tell me if they win that game or not.
Win.
Okay. Going to UCF.
Loss.
Okay. And then at Utah.
I'd still say a loss right now.
Okay. So you've got them losing. Let's say that still puts them in the conference championship game. And just for fun, let's say they win the conference championship, even with those 2 losses. The possibility to make the playoff is still 97% because they were the conference champion. They still have them as a 4 seed. They have them playing Tennessee.
Wow.
In the quarterfinal. And the second team from the Big 12, if they put one in, would be, if my widget will still continue. No, they don't have a second team for the Big 12. Oh my gosh, it is. It's going to be replete with SEC teams. Now, let's go back and just for fun, Let's go pick and see what we get if we were to go back and say, okay,
UCF a win. Let's say that.
Let's say UCF is a win. All right. If you were to go through and say UCF is a win, okay. Now BYU, and let's say they win the conference championship game. They go to Arlington, they win the conference championship game. It has them playing Utah in the conference championship game. It has them beating Utah in the conference championship game because we chose that as the option. And it has BYU as a 3 seed in the college football playoff. It has Utah as an 11 seed. Okay?
Love that.
It is phenomenal.
And then, but based on that, you could have BYU and Utah play in the regular season, play in the Big 12 title, and then potentially play in the playoff.
Listen, they're already trying. I already read an article this year where they're like, is this the first time of 3 meetings between Georgia and Alabama? I already had to eat that breakfast this week, and so I'm all for it. What I'm saying is, and these are all. I'm not. People are going to take this as Alex Kirry said over on the KSL Sports Zone that he thinks BYU and Utah are going to play one another in the conference championship and then they'll also be in the college football playoff. I'm not saying that. The possibility of that happening is still pretty darn low, but it is on the table as of week 6 of college football.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now because both teams are getting the job done. Even when Utah with their loss against Arizona, they could absolutely wake up and the rest of the way. And BYU, I don't see them going undefeated. I still see a couple of losses on the horizon there. But your uncle, who predicted that BYU wins all those games, the predictor will put BYU as the national champion if you go through and say they're going to be 12-0 going into the Big 12 championship game. So there it is, Mitch. There's just where we're at right now with college football. The predictors are actually making it to where our 2 local teams could be the very, very top of the college football playoff conversation at the end of the season.
I love that, and that's why I just hope that the powers that be in college football, I hope this playoff is an incredible spectacle, and they just realize, you know what, let's just go with this 12-team deal for a little bit.
Yep.
Let this thing bake for a bit until about 2030 when all the media rights contracts go up again. Just let this thing simmer because I feel like this is going to be a really good setup. Hopefully the Big 12's got multiple teams, but because that scenario of, be Big 12 champ and then a Big 12 at-large, that's awesome. And that's what this league needs going into after this season. We're taking a break. On the other side, we'll get to more in-depth conversation about BYU and Utah, where they sit at the bye week, and they look ahead to the second half of the season. Mitch Harper, Alex Kirry with you. It's 1st and 12 here on the KSL Sports Zone.